Poets and Writers. I'm Key Spivey. Back last June when the BLM movement was really taking off, I did a video as a shout out for some support for 10 Black Bookish booktube, authortube, and poetry tubers who I watch and really enjoy. It's been a year. I watch way more people now than I used to, and I wanted to do some more shout outs. However, for this one I was like, there are other bookish YouTubers of color who I watch who I really like, who I wanted to shout out. So this one is not exclusively Black bookish YouTubers. I've kind of opened up the floor for just people I've been really enjoying this last year who are not on the previous list. I'm not going to have any crossover the previous list and this list. So if you're interested in who was on my previous list, please go watch the video above and see if you want to support any of them, because they are all fabulous. I just wanted to shout out some more creators. Mostly they're ones I found, I started watching within the last year, who I just love their content and can't wait when the new video comes out. This list will be in no particular order. It was just kind of as they came to me. These are all authortube, booktube, or poetry tubers who are within a minority group who I really enjoy, and it mostly is like my top people who weren't on the previous list that I watch. I'm just gonna talk about each of them. This is my big shout out. Bookish YouTubers who I really like, who don't have nearly enough followers for what great content they put out. So I wanted to shout them out, and if you have any interest in any of them, please follow them. I will make sure that I link all of their channels down below as well, and please check out my previous video for some other just phenomenal YouTubers who just don't get the appreciation that they definitely deserve. First up on the list, I think might be one of the bigger people on the list because she has gained a lot of traction lately, and that is Read with Cindy. I think she's changed the channel name quite recently. I think it's just With Cindy now. It'll be correct down below, but it used to be Reads with Cindy. She is hilarious. She's the only YouTuber I've ever watched. While we're watching it, I literally spit my food across the room. Like, literally out of my mouth and across the room. She's so funny. She has a very dry sense of humor, very inappropriate sense of humor at times, but so funny. And she talks a lot about like racial discrimination, but she'll talk about it in a way that is sort of poking fun at various things. She'll talk about things in a very sarcastic manner. I just absolutely adore her. If you want to watch some really interesting and in-depth book reviews that aren't at all afraid to point out the problematic content, definitely check out Reads with Cindy and see if you find her as funny as I do. Like, it is exactly my sense of humor. It is so funny to me. Next up, number 2 is Lasalle Sampson. You ever watch somebody and you're just like, if I happened to be in a room with this person, I think we would get along really well. Like, she just has that personality that I'm just like, it's almost relaxing to watch her videos because she just seems like the type of person I'd get along with. She's just like really sweet and lovely, and her book, Blood Like Magic, is coming out this year. If there's a release date now, I'm gonna put it with the picture of her book that's coming out. Blood Like Magic is coming out. She talks about her journey getting agented in a really interesting, down-to-earth way. I feel like there's almost like a competition on AuthorTube about like getting agented and like how you go about it, and she was so like casual and honest about her journey, and it's just, it was so refreshing. It's so refreshing to watch a lot of her videos where she'll be like, you know, in editing hell, but it isn't like a life or death situation or anything. Like, she's just editing and this is how her day's going. I don't know, it's a refreshing content. I really enjoy her. I don't know if she'd be friends with me, but I would want to be friends with her. She just kind of feels very calming to me. Number 3, if you're all about the tea, Jess Owens has the channel for you. Jess Owens goes through, especially on Twitter, and like compiles the booktube drama. She puts it all together into interesting videos where she shares pretty nuanced opinions. It's, if what you want is like a really good news journalist, but exclusively for the shit going down on booktube/authortube, Jess Owens has got you covered. She has a wonderful set. You get to see her French bulldog. almost every video. She tries her best to put them in. It's how I'm keeping up, honestly. I can't be bothered to go through Twitter on my own. Sometimes you'll start scrolling and it'll be like, Poetry Magazine once again put a pedophile into one of their journals, and you're like, oh dear lord, and you just trying to go down that rabbit hole. She's already gone down the rabbit hole for you. She has everything. She gives you a good overview of the drama that's going on, so you don't have to spend all of your life going through it. So Jess Owens, for those of you looking for the tea, I've been deeply enjoying her channel recently. Number 4 is Mohi. I've been watching her for a really long time. She's kind of funny and quirky. She has a lot of being an author, or being a writer as a business model types of videos. She has a long history of doing kinds of freelance work, and a lot of her just overall content is just so interesting. She also talks about growing up as a minority person and how that's affected her life, how it's affected her writing. She has some interesting like tarot type videos. She recently did like her author date or her artist date series that was really fun. I just always enjoy her opinion, and she gives it in a very straightforward kind of snarky way. Sometimes you just need someone to just like look at you directly and be like, here's how it is, honey. And she's one of the ones who does it very well, and I very much appreciate it. And I've been following her channel for a long time as it's kind of grown, and she just gives such good advice, and it tends to be different or more direct from some of the other like more popular author-tube or booktube advice, so definitely recommend her as well. Number 5, of course she's gonna be on the list, is Shelly Flowers Reads and Writes, who I have done multiple collabs with. I absolutely adore her channel. She talks about poetry especially in such an informative way, in such a like smart way. In her book reviews, she goes over the material in a way that gives you enough of an insight into it that you know whether or not you want to then go and pick it up, and she has convinced me to buy so many books. Michelle Flores' channel is singularly responsible for like half of my stack of books that I bought last year. Ever since I started watching her, I just keep buying more books, but it's been great recommendations. I have liked everything she's told me to read. It's been wonderful. And also, because she talks about a lot of diverse content, I get exposed to books that maybe had never been on my radar because I just hadn't been looking in those subsections of the book world, especially for poetry and definitely for other books as well. Shelly Flowers has a phenomenal channel, and she's a lot of fun, and she's a wonderful person. I definitely recommend you check her out, and also check out the books that she has written as well, because she is by herself a great poet and a great writer. Next up is Zoes All Booked. She's so funny. Another person who just talks about books in an interesting way. She also is just brilliantly edited videos. Just phenomenal video editing, but she is so funny. She's another one where I laugh every time I watch her. She recently had a baby. Her baby's so cute. She tends to be more towards the like the popular fiction YA, but she's also reading a lot of different things from what has been on my radar. I just really enjoy her reviews. They're a little bit snarky, beautifully edited, really funny. The amount of like just booktubers that I watch isn't that high because sometimes it'll start to become kind of repetitive, but she's one that like from the first video I was just like, she just is so funny. I couldn't help it. I just had to keep watching all of her videos. I really enjoy it. And she's also writing a book too, so she's in the crossover genre along with pretty much everyone else on this list, I guess, to be honest. Number 7 is Kat Cho, who is a traditionally published author. I believe her book came out before she started her YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. Her book is Wicked Fox. It is a duology. I have not read her books yet, although I am definitely going to pick them up. She's been doing a lot of like writing vlogs and talking about like her agenting story, and I've just really been enjoying her content a lot. It's always nice to see more because I'm pursuing traditional publishing as well. It's always nice to see someone who has succeeded at traditional publishing tell their story. It's always just lovely, especially someone who has had 2 successful books come out and it has a 3rd, which I believe she's contracted with Disney. Like, the girl is doing very well, and I've just really been enjoying her channel. Number 8 actually got put on my radar by the number 9 person, but this is the channel The Artisan Geek, which is Seiji, and she is so smart. This girl, she's so smart. She knows what, like 5 different languages, and she reads in multiple languages. She's a big manga nerd, which there's maybe not enough of them out there. One day I will have my manga collection all together and I will have a big nerdy freak out manga channel, because I used to be the biggest nerd. Seiji is still a nerd and she has really interesting opinions about books. She reads them in multiple languages. She reads, like, she'll read poetry in its native language, and it's so lovely. She edits her videos beautifully. She has an amazing sense of humor. If you're really looking for like very different content, she also has a very adorable fashion sense. I enjoy all of her content recently, and a lot of times she's talking about books like horror manga. She has a long video about that, but that's so in depth and so interesting. I'm just like, I'm not following enough people who are talking about like this kind of nuanced content, so definitely recommend Seiji. Number 10 is Jen Campbell, and she's gonna be the one white person on my list because she represents the disabled community, and she's a huge advocate for disability and disfigurement. You may have heard her name already, especially when it comes to discussions surrounding the adaptation of The Witches with Anne Hathaway. She and some other YouTubers really brought to light like the issues with showing deformity as villainy, and she talks about that a lot. She also goes deep into fairy tales. She'll do fairy tale deep dives. She used to be a bookseller. She's the other one. So all of my books that I buy, almost all of my books that I buy because of recommendations from videos from either Michelle Flores or Jen Campbell. Like almost all of them. Jen Campbell's also an author. She wrote the Bookshop book. I don't have that one. I have her collection of short stories, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, as well as Franklin's Flying Bookshop, her children's book. She reads eclectically. She reads so many different genres, so many different translations. She's just interested in so much different literature that you're always going to find something different from her. She's read all of the new books. She's read all of the old books. She reads so much that there's always something new and interesting that she's talking about. She's very much into poetry. Published a poetry book as well, The Girl Aquarium. The advocacy for disability and disfigurement and the discussions that she has are just so necessary and still so rare, but she's also kind of opened up my eyes to more of the community. I found tons of different booktubers through her. I think she's probably been around a lot longer than some of the other people who I've mentioned on this list, but she is one of my favorite booktubers. She is the reason that I watch Seiji now, so there you go. And last but certainly not least, I just in the last year started watching My Name is Marinez. Also, just brilliant discussions about books. She just talks about things so in depth. She gives much lower ratings for books than I would. She's much harsher, but her rating system, like, there's a purpose to it. She really reads in a very literary manner. It's not just about like what she feels about the book. It's like what is working with the book, what is not working fundamentally with the book. I've just really been enjoying her book reviews. They're always very smart, very directed. She talks about like problematic issues within the books and like specifically why things didn't work. As much as I like really snarky book reviews, like with Reads with Cindy or even like Zoes All Booked, it's also really nice to read someone who is reading on just a very literary level. Obviously she has her own opinion, but it's more like diving into almost a craft level on the book. It's really good. I definitely recommend you check her out as well. That is everyone on my list. Obviously, it's not all of the booktuber, author-tuber, poetry-tubers that I watch or love or follow. It's not in any particular order. I still watch a ton more people, even in the booktube community. These are just 10 that I definitely love, that I definitely recommend you check out, that don't have nearly enough followers for the quality of content that they're putting out there and the nuance of content they're putting out there. I really enjoy lots of different opinions and lots of people thinking about things in different ways than I would, reading different kinds of things than I would read. I mean, I don't always have time to sit down and read a whole bunch of books, but I definitely can make the time, even if it's like 3 months late when I get to it, to watch people's videos and learn about the books that they have been enjoying or not enjoying and why. I will have links to all of these people down below. If you have any more suggestions for me for people who have not been mentioned in this list or in my previous list, which will have popped up at some point. You can only like do the card thing once, so it'll definitely be down below my previous list. Who you think that I should watch if I'm not already following them. I hope you found someone new and exciting to follow, and I will talk to you again soon. Good luck to you and good luck to all of us, and have a great rest of your week. Bye! Hi Pie, good spot. Good choice.